The world of Elden Ring is so open. You can fight virtually any boss you want right from the start of the game. That led to us trying to fight bosses in reverse rune order, seeking out the most expensive boss first and working our way down. Now, we did that earlier, but we haven't done it since the DLC came out. Does that change the order? Yeah. Consort Radahn is the 10th boss we'll fight on this run, meaning that 20% of the first 10 bosses are Radahns, and also 20% of the first 10 bosses are Mohg. It also means that we're going to have to get good and fight Radahn without Scadutree level 20. Do I have what it takes to do that? Well, let's just find out. We can talk about that in the video. Hey everybody, this video is sponsored by Squarespace. To watch these runs live, I'm on Twitch, and my avatar is still Lickitung, don't know why. We'll be going live tonight, trying to get a win as every class in Night Rain before the morning comes. Should be fun. Join the Patreon to support the channel, it's the best place to do it, and to check out Tulok the Cardbarian to see us do some Magic the Gathering content. We're doing some wild decks over there with commanders you might not have seen. Now, let's get started by not getting started for a very long time.
Let's start. This is the worst part.
Elden Ring is so open. Not only can you just run around and fight almost any bosses you want, you can also run around and grab weapons, upgrade them, and bully local wildlife as much as you want. Anything you can imagine, you can accomplish. For example, imagine gaming in Fortnite. The most repeated joke in the channel's history is making a Fortnite reference in Elden Ring, and Miyazaki, that sick bastard, really made Elden Ring Fortnite real. Oh, also, if anyone wants to see the order with the DLC added, I posted that on Patreon. I think you only have to pay $1 to see it. Oh, hey, great point, Streamphil. You're so right. What a deal. The tiers are still democratized. I really should scale them up, but it's hard when I'm doing a million different things and have no idea what people are there to support. Anyway, we actually do fight the Fortnite for a surprise tool that will help us later. Last time we did this, Grail Sleepy Mama Dragon counted as a boss because Fextra Life counts it as a boss. But here's the thing, Fextra Life
is a liar sometimes.
Oh boy.
Rules for what counts as a boss this run. Is there a big red health bar on screen? It's a boss. Is there no big red health bar on screen? That's not a boss. That's just something that dies. I used to think I was my own boss, but no, I'm just something that dies one day. So are you, unless you own a bar. But then you can't leave it, and you have to paint it red. Secrets to immortality unlocked, I guess. You are welcome. I, for one, welcome the idea of an ending, as I feel like it makes this whole thing have meaning. Personally, when I'm tenderizing dragon tootsies, I like the spiked cestus that you can scoop up from the merchant, but as stated before, I am not mine nor anyone else's boss. Use the Gucci Uchi if that's what makes your heart sing. Some vigor acquired. Now let's go get some rocks. As we run and get rocks, let me clarify the rules for everyone who didn't watch the first video, even though, ooh, that's a Tulok classic. That's a really good one. Our target boss is always the boss with the most runes that we can fight. Elden Beast is worth the most runes, but we can't fight it without beating Hoarah. We can't beat Hoarah without beating Gideon. We can't beat Gideon without beating Maliketh et Cheddar Bra. That means our target is not the Elden Beast. Our target is the Godskin Apostle at the Divine Tower of Caelid bottom basement floor. That hasn't changed since the DLC came out. In fact, the order is the same through Mohg. It's Godskin Apostle, Putrid Avatar, Blackblade Kindred, Flying Dragon Grail, Radahn, and then Mohg. But hey, did you notice that those last two bosses are the only ones you need to open the DLC?
I'm in danger!
So that is where everything changes, except war. War never changes. Factually incorrect. Chemical weapons and machine guns made World War I very different from previous wars. And speaking of chemical weapons, because of our different boss order, we're going to get a different weapon for this run. Last time we used the Great Stars because it's a great hammer, it's got bleed, and it's factually the best weapon in the game. This time, we're gonna get stinky. Malay is right outside the Shady Castle, and he's using the Antspur Rapier. It's like a normal rapier, but Antspur. It's got Scarlet Rot on it. In Pokemon, all Pokemon capable of learning TMs used to be able to learn Toxic. This led to a fan theory that the move Toxic was Pokemon throwing their own shit at other Pokemon. Recent Pokemon games have made Toxic less common to learn among new Pokemon, leading me to believe that the powers that be in the battle community made a new rule that Pokemon are unable to throw their shit at each other anymore. This is why the Antspur Rapier has Rot on it. Why is it red? Well, the lands between are short on fiber. Fighting melee is as miserable as a poop without fiber. Not because of his poison rapier or even his vape cloud, it's because of Big Nuts the giant. Big Nuts has big nuts, but that's not important. It's the fact that he's a giant. Later he'll be a boss, but for now he's just an asshole that can't damage Miley for some reason. This forces you to pull Miley off, or maybe pull the giant off, but neither of them wants to get pulled off unless the other one is also getting pulled off. It's part of the rules of their open relationship. Hey, whatever works. All God's children are different and feel the love of heaven in different ways. But this is the wrong way, and I hate them. It takes a couple of attempts, and we still haven't upgraded the weapon because these gloves are not going to be the weapon of choice, and the stones are a bit limited when you can't fight bosses for them. Speaking of rocks, they are in the Raya Lucaria Crystal Tunnel. 3 years of this, you might know where the rocks are, right? Thrusting swords are a booty weapon type to handle the mining guys. They do absolutely no poise damage whatsoever, which is ironic because this one is actually poison everyone. Rotting. It's a rotten choice for a weapon. Back in Limgrave, we can grab the whetstone knife and some more stones from the Stone Digger Tunnel. Normally, we can just buy them after beating the Crystallion, but they are boss number 179 out of 207, so I think it's probably just better if we get these instead of waiting. Again, personal opinion, you're the own Chris Pratt of your own raptor pen, do it however you like. Though if you want my advice, just don't do this. Sealed Tunnel also has a lot of rocks, including some rocks that are locked in a statue. The Virgin Abductor can help us out there. Then kill us. Hey, joke's on you. I want to die. More statues hiding rocks, this time by Ariza Hero's grave. We can ask a bear to help us out this time. Thank you, bear. Later, Phil is going to be very confused why this grace is unlocked, and the answer is, I grabbed it for myself later. That was nice to me. Be kind to yourself, gamers. We're still not done rocking. I can't stop rocking. I love rocking so much. It's my favorite mother trucking thing to do in my favorite mother trucking level in the game, the Ruin-Strewn Oedipus. Some people ask what that joke means, and wow, some people are sleeping on their Greek tragedies. Oedipus Rex is the story about a guy who was destined to do the do with his mother and kill his father, so his parents gave him up for adoption. Sadly, his mom was very stupid and started getting Baja blasted by a younger man about 20 years later. Her husband finds out about it, so being the live wire that she is, she has the younger man kill her husband. Here's the twist, and there is a twist. The younger man was her son. That's a big code red situation for him, so he gouges his own eyes out. Later, this play would be referenced by a therapist and famous play understander, Sigmund Freud, as a psychological complex for dudes who want their mom to take their black cherry. If old Eddie Rex was alive today, I'm sure he'd say, oh God, kill me, I'm so old. But then he'd say, Siggy, I specifically didn't want to give my mom that zero sugar sweetness. Of course, then Sigmund Freud, who would also have to be alive today, would say, oh God, kill me, I am so old. And then he'd say, well, it's just a Freudian slip. That's another Freud thing, where people accidentally say something that's on their mind. Because Freud thought everyone wanted to diet kickstart pineapple orange mango with their moms, shout out mango, a frequent Freudian slip would be someone with an Oedipus complex, so calling the Ruin-Strewn Precipice the Ruin-Strewn Oedipus and calling it my favorite mother trucking level in the game is a joke about the Oedipus Rex tragedy, Sigmund Freud's mommy issues, and the fact that YouTube doesn't want you to say 4-letter words that start with F so early in your video. Frog, font, fuck. Deal with it. The Salia Tunnel has more rocks. We can grab those there, then run up Mount Gelmnir to find another statue and the calmest bear in the game. Least aggressive bear. Bro is a fucking sniper. What are we doing, buddy? What the fuck? Are you fucking kidding me? Yes, you have a homing roar attack. I'm aware you have a homing roar attack. We make it work here. Sorry about those 4-letter words. Oh hey, 4 is also a 4-letter word that starts with F. That's so neat. So is 5, but that one's less interesting. While we're here, we can grab some Grave Glovewort from the Gelmir Hero's Grave. All my G fans loved that sentence. I'm so out of narration for this game, we've moved on to talking about letters. Any H fans in the chat? Smash that like button if you're a real H-head. There are some smithing 6s in Volcano Manor. All of this is just saving time by grabbing Graces for us later. Unlike the DLC, the base game doesn't have any areas that are bossless, which also means that Miquella has abolished capitalism there in some areas, or Tehlu just has a really strong union. I crank open the shortcut bridge that gets a cutscene. That means this bridge is more important than R'hllana, Gaius, Putrescent Knight, and Romina. Unfortunately, on our quest for rocks, we reach a point of no return and have to warp away, losing 18,000 runes, which is pretty significant at this point.
I'm broke! I'm a dead man!
Craig Blade is a surprise tool that will help us later by being a very good Ash of War. That's it, that's how it's helpful. Sometimes helpful things are just really good things, like today's sponsor, Squarespace. That's right, gamers, this video is sponsored by Squarespace. Squarespace is the best place for you to start making your website, which is the best way to start making your business happen. Thanks to Squarespace's design intelligence, you don't have to be some expert at designing websites. No, you just gotta know what your brand is, and Squarespace will help you figure out which text boxes look best in which places, where to put your images, how big your images should be. They'll offer you helpful tips to make sure your website is looking nice. And once it looks nice, it will also function amazingly. Squarespace has options to accept all sorts of different payments. I'm talking about Klarna, Apple Pay, credit cards, PayPal, even ClearPay and Afterpay if you want your customers to be able to buy now and pay later. It doesn't even matter what you're selling. If you're selling physical goods, if you're selling courses, if you're selling special videos, it's easy to set up paid member areas on Squarespace or make sure that your goods are going out to the people who ordered them quickly. Squarespace is so easy to use. We set up our website on your work computer in an afternoon as a goof because I thought it would be funny. And it was funny. I was right. To get started with Squarespace today, go to squarespace.com and start your free trial. Then when you're ready to publish, go to squarespace.com/tulokmango for 10% off your first website or domain. Again, squarespace.com when you're ready to start your free trial. Then when you're ready to publish, squarespace.com/tulokmango for 10% off your first website or domain. Now let's get back to doing this backwards. I put a note in for Corey that needle drop has to include the yeah, so everyone would know it is not the Hard Knock Life from Annie or the Jay-Z version, but is in fact the version from Austin Powers and Goldmember. You're welcome. Comedy used to be different. It used to mean something. You used to have to make your characters do a rap song, which would be weird because that's not the type of song you'd expected them to sing. Speaking of things you wouldn't expect someone to like, the Divine Tower of Caelid. Your expectation, of course, being that a long platforming challenge with tiny landing zones and literally broken fall distance would be incredibly frustrating, since that added challenge doesn't add a level of satisfaction and can only stand to make the game longer for someone who doesn't like it. Great expectation, that's exactly how I feel about it. Thank you for expecting that. But roughly 2.5-ish hours later, it's time for the first boss, the Godskin Apostle. Our sword is up to +19. We have Bloody Slash from the Fort Knight, which gives us a bleed infusion for some bleed, and we have 2 gargoyles who are distracted by the fog wall. Good job, boys. It's all good. This time we have a little vigor, so we can actually take a hit or 2. The rot is pretty slow, but it's consistent, and the bleed pops pretty fast, considering we haven't invested in our arcane yet. Honestly, not bad. And we get to upgrade our armor to be a soggy foreskin man with a sounding needle. I'm the dick destroyer, I guess. Get your cups on, folks. How is the rot weapon gonna work against the rotten tree monster that can't bleed? Honestly, fine. I kill this guy so often because he's just a big dumpy full of runes that I'm pretty used to no hitting, or at least very close to no hitting. Bad damage and a mammoth-sized health bar doesn't matter when your moveset consists of slowly trying to jump up and sit on me. Actual hard stuff is the Blackblade Kindred. This boss, this one right here, is why in the previous run we chose to use the Great Stars. It's weak to strike damage and resistant to just about everything else. Not magic. I guess magic would also be a thing, but getting a magic build ready to go against the Godskin Apostle would be kind of a nightmare. So my first instinct is just to use the starting club from Wretch and the Craigblade Ash of War for a damage and stance pressure multiplier. It does not go well. Turns out upgrading your weapons is a major contributing factor to your damage. Also, I'm not the only one who hates this dude. Bingo players, the good bingo players who are good at the game, leave this square all the time when he is really easy to get to. He's just not a fun fight, especially at low levels. Tiny club no work? Unga Bunga Man have solution. Bigger club. Bigger club more better because bigger club more bigger. Unga Bunga Man no math. This one is certainly better at breaking its stance. It's about twice as long, but stance pressure doesn't matter when the boss is so stupidly placed in the overworld. Previous Souls games, before they were super open world, bosses were in arenas that were designed just for them. Here, FromSoft has started dropping bosses just randomly throughout the world, which is more immersive and really adds to the cool feeling that you can't be safe anywhere. You're not just expecting bosses when you walk into a big empty courtyard with one suspiciously praying lady in the middle. We also do have a bit of a problem that's created by this, where these bastards keep janking all over the environment. It's especially evident against something like the Blackblade Kindred, who just fly and hop like the floor is lava, and he just got some new Jordans. Are Jordans still good shoes? Yeah, I don't know. It shouldn't be like a modern basketball player like LeBron. Goes to show how much I know about basketball. LeBron was playing when I was in high school, so I don't know who's playing now. He'd have to be in like his 40s now. It'd be like LeBron Jr. playing or something. Holy shit. I was just making a generic junior joke. LeBron is still playing and his son is on the Lakers with him. Do people not talk about this? That's insane. Oh my God, should I care about sports? No, this is a rarity in sports. Almost never happens. And quite frankly, watching a whole game of basketball without the Looney Tunes sounds like an unfathomable chore. Speaking of unfathomable chores, playing Elden Ring, we swapped back to the Antspur just because it's leveled up. Sure, he heavily resists piercing damage, but how bad could it be? It is barely better than an unupgraded hammer. Good lord. But slapping Craigblade on it turns it from barely better to slightly better, which is barely better. It goes barely better, slightly better, hardly better, a little better, a bit better, and finally better. There are some heartbreaking losses where we get very close, but we quite literally were struggling. I just realized, by the way, that when you Craigblade the Antspur Rapier, you make the struggle bat from Kingdom Hearts 2. Wow, Kingdom Hearts, what a great reference, Phil. What a great reminder to our audience to check out the Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories video. It's fantastic and full of great bits. We collected all 104 combat cards you can get in one stream, or at least we tried to. Did we succeed? Did we fail? Did it take 27 hours? The answer to the last question is yes. Go watch me lose my mind in a game that still makes my heart feel something other than hatred. This only took 40 minutes, so it's fine. I feel fine. Fucking God damn it! Oh my God. Oh, if you stance break, I get money. But I never stance break. Thankfully, that's the last tricky boss. Oh no, Radahn is next. I mean, after Flying Dragon Grail, but they're not even a real boss. Like, they don't matter. Like, they're not even supposed to be, like, in this area. It's fine. Piercing is good against all dragons, but this little butter knife is not great at getting up there and hitting the head. Once we do knock it down, it's easy to poke, get the rot, but the bleed is slower because we forgot to take Craigblade off. It's not a bleed blade anymore, it's just a Craigular Joe. Like I said though, not a hard boss. Time for Consort Radahn. Oh, it's still Starscourge? Oh, that's easy. He's so weak to rot, once you have it applied, he's basically dead. We have bleed on there, so just gotta find an opening eventually. Gotta be an opening somewhere. One of these days. There we go. Once he jumps up, he's rotted, so we just kind of hang out. Let the rot kill him. Wow, it sure was fun fighting bosses. I sure hope I don't have to do a 30-minute side quest to get to the next boss.
I'm gonna tell him.
Don't you dare.
My Subway servers today was Ghost Adventures, and it was pretty insightful. What if Zach Baggins is just an alcoholic, and he goes sober for shoot days? Because I'm thinking, I'm like watching, and he's like, oh man, I just got like chills right now. I just got like chills. Like, what was that? Oh, I just got like a sharp pain in my head. It's like, Zach, I think you're just having a withdrawal, man. Oh, just like I just had this like sharp feeling of anger sweep over me. Like, I felt like I wanted to fight you, man. It's like, yeah, that's alcohol withdrawal. Also swapped to the Radahn set so we could have some decent armor. Using Antspur Rapier while wearing the Radahn set is sort of like Macaulay Culkin wearing a bee costume, but hey, if that bee costume gave us 53 poise, I'd take it. Magnus the Beast Claw is not a boss, but he's mandatory if we want to fight Mohg early, and we do. He's worth the most runes. Fighting Vike isn't necessary, but he's in the way of that good maiden blood, the real premium stuff. You're drinking maiden blood from the fort of the 4 belfries? Disgusting. Everyone knows Vike's maiden has the highest quality flavor over. Vari asks us not to use the blood medallion. We immediately use it in front of him because I don't respect him.
I don't get no respect from anyone.
I decided that fighting Patches without killing him does not count as beating a boss because I wanted to do that. Since the rapier might poison Patches and kill him, I hit him in the head with a club over and over again. It's much less deadly. Now we can buy some pickles before Mohg, and Mohg is just tricky at this level. Yeah, we did the Sleepy Dragon, but we still basically have just the requisite vigor and very little else. Each of our hits does almost nothing. The imps stack some bleed, and the bleed happens fast against Mohg, but he does take half damage from bleed, which I think people forget. He also gets a damage boost whenever someone bleeds next to him. Still, that lower resistance definitely works out more in our favor. As he starts healing, Rot has been applied, and another bleed right away gets him down to half health, effectively taking away all of his healing from the kneeling. Unfortunately, though, our big chunks of damage are coming few and far between, since 7 bleeds in one phase means he now has Fire Giant levels of bleed resistance. Out of flasks, we're both looking low. I need to play passively. Rot is over. That last bit of health just needs to come from stabbing, and finding windows with Splatoon juice all over the floor isn't gonna let us get in. One misspaced blood claw takes our life. Next run, I try a new strategy. Don't get domed so often in the opening. It works great. Turns out when you get hit less and you have more flasks with which you can heal, you do better. Amazing. The writing in these videos has always been the draw for everyone, right? Where else are you gonna hear healing too much too early isn't good? Try to get hit less. A stance break right after phase 1 sets us up for a big crit, even though poking would have been better, especially with Rot ticking away since it goes on pause during crit frames, which would continue ticking if he was just down waiting for the crit. We win. Now let's go do the media literacy part.
Every day, for tide influencer.
I don't know. Putrescent is an allegory for the suffragette movement. I don't care about these videos anymore. Please watch the other ones. Or don't. You don't have to. This isn't a passive aggressive move or some reverse psychology. You shouldn't watch videos you don't want to. If I haven't convinced you to watch videos that you might not know the game of by telling you I'll make it accessible, I'll explain mechanics, I'll tell jokes, I'll be happy. Then at the end of the day, I just need to realize y'all don't want it. You don't care about those subjects, and that's okay. There isn't a robotic algorithmic conspiracy. The algorithm isn't showing those videos because people aren't watching them. And people aren't watching them because, for the most part, they're not interested. Some of you say you'll watch me play anything, and that's awesome. Thanks to everyone who does that. But most of you don't. Most of you don't comment. Most of you just watch the videos that you want to watch and skip the ones you don't. And again, that's fine. That's what I do when I watch YouTube. Trying to pretend that it's some machine fighting against me isn't productive. My job is making Elden Ring. Whether I like it or not, we'll try pivoting to a middle ground. I'm going to try and hit up some more new, more topical games, even though they're something I am absolutely not interested in. But that's fine, because this is my job, and jobs don't have to be fun. We'll try Oblivion first. Be on the lookout for that. Hopefully I enjoy an open world game, even though I hate open world games, and don't get annoyed with all of the bugs, even though I hate bugs. Here's the DLC part.
Give it to me, I'm worth it. Baby, I'm worth it.
The first DLC boss is actually Metyr, or Metyr. If you haven't met her, you'd love to meet her. You just have to give her some space and you'll surely beat her. Need to reach her, then just tweet her. But if you greet her and then skeet her, stay loyal, okay? Don't be a cheater. Normally we do Gaius first because he blocks a bunch of shadows, but our damage should be fine. And oh no. Hey Streamville, how are we doing? Question. Is Tarzan a virgin? When Jane meets him. I hope so too. Yeah, good news, we have status damage, which is all percentile, but we still need to get some windows in there to apply the status effects, and Mama is a buck and bronco of fingers. Since our Scadutree level isn't maxed out, we're also taking more damage than I'm used to in this fight, like 10%-ish maybe. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it adds up, especially when a boss has combos, which Metyr does. The fingers work very fast together. This is just a matter of playing very safe and letting the rot buildup do its trick. It doesn't, at least not very quickly. Still, once we get a run where it's applied, the constant tick down gives us a pretty free win, especially with one last stance break and no bleed. But the route was going during her giant space laser attack, so she's taking damage and we're not. We still are taking damage. We're both taking damage, and that damage kills her first. Boss number 7, done. We're averaging about a boss per hour, only 200 hours to go. Messmer time, no more shadow trees, but we're actually at a decent level. Turns out when 3 of 7 bosses you beat are Avengers level threats, you do make a bit more money. Attempt 1, on, we don't summon the imps, there's simply no time. Besides, once we get a stance break, the fight is over, which means it's never over. This thing sucks. I miss the Great Stars. I think I'm just gonna really get to the bottom of the Great Stars as a channel strategy. How good is the Great Stars on heavy affinity, on keen affinity, on quality affinity, on magic affinity, cold affinity, fire affinity, flame affinity, which is totally different than fire affinity. Do not lie and say it's not. I will say, Messmer is a better Jafar fight than in any Kingdom Hearts game. The only snake Jafar fight is in one of the mobile games? Come on. You're telling me I never get to fight a big snake monster with my Keyblade? I love fighting big snake monsters, famously. No, I don't. But I also don't like the Jafar fights. First Kingdom Hearts 1 Jafar fight. Guy runs away, you gotta chase him down. Second Kingdom Hearts 1 Jafar fight. You gotta chase Iago down as he flies away holding the lamp. Chain of Memories Jafar fight. Same thing with Iago, but you gotta use card combos instead of attack combos, which is just worse. Kingdom Hearts 2 Jafar, the whole thing is on a carpet and you have to use carpet controls? Really? He has a bunch of attacks that just blow you. They don't even do damage, they just blow you further away. So you have to fly back in, hit his tummy, try and give him a tummy ache? I don't know how good a snake Jafar boss would be, but it's gotta be better than being stuck on a magic carpet and giving him a tummy ache. The Messmer fight is us just flying in and trying to apply Scarlet Rot, which is a tummy ache, and Bleed, which is, well, that's bleeding. That's a time-honored tradition of murder. We'll honor your time by cutting out all the losses and getting into the fight that wins. R1s are just the way to go. The stance pressure isn't ever gonna add up to much, so don't even bother. Just poke and hope that Bart and Lisa, my imp sons, can keep the bleed pressure up in the background. Phase 2, we go for the R2s, or at least we would have if we didn't with the free dodge at the beginning of Phase 2. A later R2 gets us the stance break we need, well, that and 40 to 50 R1s in Phase 1. He's rotted now, so we just gotta play it safe and stay alive, though if we can get a hit off here or there, that's safer, since it could get us out of the fight faster. Unfortunately, after that fight's over, I realized that while we could not max out our weapons and Spirit Ash in the base game because of gatekeeping bosses, now that we're in the DLC, we can get the Smithing Stone 7s, 8s, and the Grave Glovewort 8, 9, and 10. Like, I guess that's actually probably a good thing. It will make our weapons better for the next bosses. But for Streamfill, who already spent like 5 hours running errands, this was heartbreaking. We're skipping all that though. 50 minutes later, we're already fighting Romina. Time flies when you edit out the time you spent doing menial tasks. It's like the plot of Click, but nobody's gonna pretend this is an entertaining thing to watch just because Henry Winkler carries 2 scenes. Click is a bad movie, and Henry Winkler is good in it. You saw it when you were a child. That's why you think it was deep. It's deep if you're a child. If you're an adult, it's one of the first movies where Adam Sandler's God complex goes on full display. Though, Click Adam Sandler is nothing in terms of power scaling compared to something like Just Go With It Sandler or Pixels Sandler. The Adam Sandler power creep is a real problem because his best roles in movies were when he was a lovable loser, someone who was struggling to get by and abrasive to the people close to him. Wedding Singer. I'm describing The Wedding Singer. Like, from the jump, the joke is that someone whose career as a musician has peaked singing at weddings in small towns is embarrassing. He gets dumped at his own wedding. He's not really great at anything except singing and being a likable loser. He's nice and caring, which is foiled by the asshole boyfriend to Drew Barrymore. Sure, he's handsome and successful, but he's not nice to her and he cheats on her. Maybe money and success aren't the most important things. Then we move into later Sandler movies where all of his characters are always rich and amazing at basketball, which apparently the latter is based in reality. Dude can hoop, but oh fuck, the former's also based in reality. Dude is loaded, but he's not magically successful at everything, other than all of his movies being really successful, even though critics hate them. I guess they're all just semi-autobiographical then. Not good movies. Accuracy isn't the metric by which a movie succeeds, just understandable where the perspective is. I can't remember what comedians said it, but they were talking about how other comedians are funnier at the start of their career. Now you can always tell when a comedian gets too successful. As soon as their jokes are about air travel and hotels, they're done. Just can't make jokes about being a normal person when your whole life is a bubble of luxury. Yeah, the Romina fight went pretty good, even with a rot weapon. Bleed is cracked. I think Larry David does a good job of getting around that issue in Curb Your Enthusiasm. Like, yeah, he's rich and there's almost never lasting consequences for his actions, but he's also an unlikable guy you get to watch fail. Basically just an id battling his way through the super ego with unlimited resources to do it. It's hilarious and I appreciate it. Radahn, that's the one you're all interested in, right? Low level Radahn. Damn, that's not even that low of a level even, but hey, we're missing Scadutree fragments, so jot that down, you dang so-and-so. I'm using that Sekiro blocking tier, just turning his attacks into chip damage if I can get my timing right, and getting a guard counter off with my status factory when I can. This thing is so short though that the guard counters often miss when we're standing directly in front of him. Pretty big oof there. Through 30 minutes of attempts, here's the things that change. Nothing. I just figure out the space spacing better. I think one of those runs I tried using Golden Parry instead, but I can't really be bothered to go find that clip. Elden Ring is on the screen, that's all you need. In the winning run, we almost bite it right out the gate. That's scary. I guess I'm saving the Gerblins for phase 2. That's worth noting, kind of, maybe. More importantly though, I just know when the guard counters will hit and when they won't. He's being a little shit though and hitting a bunch of moves that don't let us guard counter. What a bad boy. When he opens up with a nuke, we drop Bart and Lisa, then get ready to take some chip. Splitting aggro helps get some consistent hits off, but he doesn't really let them hang around for long. At least we get him to go up and jump, which I don't think resets his status bars, because shortly after, we get the Radahn, and he's low enough that we just need to survive. Easier said than done, of course, so let's help the Rot out with a few errant pokes. That wouldn't be so bad. It would also help if he whiffs a grab.
What, like it's hard?
Sunflower time. It can be rot, but only in the second and third phases. Why? Because this fight's terrible. My spacing's weirdly good, though. I'm terrible at spacing this guy, and this weapon's really short. Hell, I dodged the thorns one time. Just one time? It helps that he's going for a lot of dumb head slam attacks. Headbutts, while very stylish, are a terrible way to attack someone. Think about the worst place for you to get hit. It's your head. Think about the best place to hit someone else. It's their head. Think about what would happen if your head hit another very hard head. It's bad ass. Headbutt a mother sucker. Come on, it's so cool. Fighting's a bad idea in general. You've committed to this, in for a penny, in for a pound. Pound their damn skull with yours. First try, win. The Jori is still out on whether or not the Elder Inquisitor is a fun boss or not, but that's just because no one can take time off of work in this economy. Everyone just got out of Jori duty, and they were right to do so. The boss is terrible. We bully her really hard this time, actually. Goes pretty smoothly. Having two little buddies to distract her and all her goons is great. Midra is terrible because the Antspur Rapier is really bad in this fight. It doesn't stun first phase Midra, so we die to first phase Midra because I never respect first phase Midra. Attempt 2, I guess we respect Midra in phase 1, and phase 2 ends up being fine, actually. He's got a lot of health, but he bleeds like a sieve. I don't know what a sieve is. Am I a doctor? No, I'm a gamer, and doctors can't game. That's why Doctors Without Borders raises money with games done quick. They get other gamers to game for them. Bleed and rot, what a combo. Rilana, they call her 002. That's 0 cutscenes, 0 lore significance, and 2 swords. Also bleeds and rots. Bart and Lisa demolish her with us. It's a boss number 14. Gaius is the next real challenge, and oof, this dude is big, but we're switching to a new weapon, a better weapon, the Mohg spear. And you can put the big blood up in the air around a corner. It just works. Doesn't work when you run out of mana. Now we have to beat him with a giant spear that has a ton of bleed. Spellcasting's so much better than weapon arts. R1s are enough though, wasn't even that hard. Obviously the giant fork hard counters the giant pork chop. For Putrescent Knight, it can't bleed, so we're back to the anting and spurring. He's very weak to rot, which is because of a lore theory that this is Radahn's body, with Mohg's body being used in the consort fight. Honestly, anything to make this go faster. I hate this guy. Even though I'm so cracked, I definitely won't choke right at the end. No. No! Fuck off. Second attempt is much like the first, but I chew my food so I do not choke. Now we get into weirder stuff like Ymir, who I don't respect. Probably should have respected him a little. We die, but hey, we all make mistakes. Apparently Jolan doesn't die until Ymir does, which I would say makes this a 2-phase boss fight. With Jolan as the first phase, Ymir is the second phase. 2-phase NPC fight. NPCs, they're a real mother. Nine Beast Dancing Lion is a totally unique boss. You love to see it. It's got Deathblight Breath. You hate to see it. The note I left in my boss order to do this boss was very kind to myself. I would never do negative self-talk when I could do negative self-rock. We lost the first round. I get it together in the second. The AoE on the Blood Boon Ritual is great for dealing with the little ads that spawn in. That's the last boss I was worried about. Now we enter a very special era. The Falling Star Beast is a Falling Star Beast. I think it has a new move, but I don't think it used it. Scorpion River Catacombs are the real boss here. Going forward, we're no longer going to struggle with bosses. We're going to get lost in an IKEA a dozen or so times, and then fight someone in the food court. By those tasty cinnamon rolls, the meatballs are mid. They're overrated. The cinnamon rolls are perfect. This one has a Death Knight. We fought it. Ancient Dragon Man is just gatekeeping Bayle by not having a lot of runes, relatively speaking, but oh look, now we're fighting Bayle and using the big spear on it. We don't have Egon though, and that's surprisingly a big difference. I always thought Egon was just kind of the haha funny voice lines man. No, he takes a lot of aggro. I didn't realize Bayle doesn't like it when you breathe. That honestly recolors a lot of the picture I have in my head of what this boss was. Still good. I shouldn't judge whether a boss is good or bad when I hate playing the game now. Switching to Anspur works great. When he gets aggressive, you still do damage with rot. Bayle is still a great, cool, unique boss that I am happy is in the game. This is a Deathrite bird. In the DLC, FromSoft charged you $1 for a Deathrite bird. 42 bosses in the DLC. The DLC costs $42.50-ish after tax depending on where you live. Each boss is $1. You paid $1 to fight a Deathrite bird. How do you feel? Jump on the horse, mash into the penis with the Anspur rapier. Senessax is another boss you paid $1 for, you fool. Making consumerist choices. Someone in chat pointed out that all the ancient dragons have X's in their name, like the members of Organization 13, which means if we anagram the other letters, Senesax's original name was Anus, spelled A-E-N-E-S-S-S. Tried it with the big spear, kinda worked, kinda didn't. Anspur worked better. After getting them low, I just walked away and let rot kill them. How much does the rot do? Okay. Fuck. Yeah, I had to get a few more pokes in there. This boss is dog shit. Lamenter's jail is one of the worst dungeons, base game or DLC. Every hallway looks the same. It's just getting lost in an IKEA again because you're high. Sorry, did I use that metaphor already? Well, FromSoft is allowed to reuse bosses. I'm allowed to reuse metaphors. The Lamenter might even be a cool boss. Makes a bunch of clones and stuff, but after the dungeon wasted 15 minutes of my goddamn life, I just hit the Blood Boon ritual in the crowd and didn't bother to figure out which one was the real one. Easy ass minigame. Jagged Peak Drake after the Bayle fight feels wrong, but at least the $1 we paid to fight a reskinned regular dragon from the base game gave it some lightning attacks, and a second dragon that attacks you the whole time when it's supposed to be fighting that dragon. Poke the sky till it bleeds, then the boss dies. That's science. I think you paid $2 whole to fight the Dancing Lion, since you fight it twice, and the second fight really feels like, well, this is what we planned for the guy to be, but we were worried Deathblight went too hard for the first major boss of the DLC. They didn't even change the colors of the breath and the lightning though. Like, it's pretty clearly still Deathblade assets, it just doesn't stank you up to death. Big bloody sky stabby, get big Winnie. Not Winnie like a horse, win like an adjective. For the Ghostflame Dragon, it's better if you have a holy weapon, but I'm fully sunk into arcane and realizing there isn't an arcane scaling holy option that I'm aware of. Arcane lightning, Dragon Bolt hammer, arcane magic, bell bearing sword, arcane holy nothing. Correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sure there's something somewhere. Blood Boon's great against dragons. They got big old hurt boxes and standing under them just tickles every bit with the rain. Ghostflame Dragon, but again, this one summons skeletons instead of having soldiers already there. The soldiers in Shadow Altus are supposed to be aggro by the dragon, but as soon as you show up, they decide for some reason you're the priority. Yeah, that's neat. Same strategy works here. Hey, imagine paying $1 to fight a tree sentinel again. Couldn't be me, because I paid $2 to fight 2 tree sentinels. I'm sorry if it seems like there's a rift growing between me and the game, but it's just the Fog Rift Catacombs. It does make me think if you pronounced it wrong, it could be the Faux Rift Catacombs, which would be where you made it seem like you were grifting someone, but actually give them a quality product or service. Why do that? I don't know. Why protect a grave with a bunch of collapsing ceiling spikes? The Death Knight has a grab, he gets it off against us. I just wanted to show the cool animation off because it's neat. IKEA traversed, let's move on. A third Ghostflame Dragon.
Wow.
To be fair, I'd rather fight a dragon that was copy-pasted for a third time than run through an IKEA again like the Bonnie jail, only to find a curse blade at the end, as though they hadn't already jumped me a dozen times in the overworld as a standard enemy. This one's in the dark. Oh no, it's gonna get so dark, how am I gonna aim? Anyway. You paid $1 for a demi-human queen, at least it's a fast dollar. Look, it's another Jagged Peak Drake, but this one is at the bottom of the Jagged Peak, which is an oxymoron like Jumbo Shrimp or reasonable Last of Us fan. This next boss rocks. Shasa, it doesn't rock. He's got infinite poise as an NPC, and it's an NPC boss, and it's just not fun. 4 of these bosses are NPCs, a boss fight type that hasn't been enjoyable since Demon's Holes, and I don't think they've changed much about it.
I'd buy that for $1.
$4, actually. The Blood Friend Chef is in a cave that isn't miserably deep, and that's good. It's also a unique boss. Not a bad one, it's just a big troll guy, but it's a big troll guy with some unique moves and art assets. Fuck it, 10 out of 10. Belurat Everjail, one of the better cave dungeons. It's kind of like walking forward through a cave, falling down. There's not much to think about or get distracted by. Again, 10 out of 10. Ons loves jumping around, but you can't jump out of a bloodstorm. It's against the rules. Red Bear, but not like the big bear, the guy version. I'm also realizing I forgot to put the red bears in the script, like the big ones. I know we fought them on stream, but I might have skipped them while I was combing through the footage, or maybe I wrote about them and already forgot that part. I'd literally just have to scroll up this Google Doc to check. It would be the slightest of efforts.
Look carefully at the "I really wish I weren't here right now" button.
Speaking of low effort, the Black Knight Geru is a basic enemy that they gave a unique tongue attack to. He never used his shield. Edred is unique. You can't summon for him. Oh, you can't. Huh. Cannot summon this guy, I guess. That's okay. I can press R1. 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 Dancer of Renah, she has a Fire Ash of War, or a spell, something fire you can't use as a player. I wouldn't consider that interesting. Wouldn't much consider any of these bosses interesting anymore. It's just a thing that happens in the fight. Like when you're driving down a country road and someone points out there are cows. Yeah, there are. It's not that interesting. That's where cows are supposed to be. But they are being there as cows, and that's why they are there. Might as well point it out. Final boss of the DLC is the Knight of the Solitary Jail. He's an NPC boss by Grapthar's Hammer. What a boss fight. Back to the base game. Hey, another thing I wouldn't say is interesting, but something that is something, there are no overworld bosses worth more than the lowest rune DLC bosses after you've done this run through Mohg. We never had to come back to the base game because a boss would have been worth more runes. Not really interesting, but it's something. The Beastmen of Fair Missoula are 2 somethings. There's 2 of them. We have 2 imps and 3 prongs, and at this point, are stupid overleveled. Last time we did this challenge, we got really overleveled somewhere around Elden Beast, I'd say, and started pancaking everything. This time I'd say Consort Radahn got us overleveled, which is the real reason I'd say this challenge isn't a fun one or even an interesting one. It's a long one. It's one that will put a lot of Elden Ring on the screen for a long time, and that's great, but at home, you're spending the first 6 hours gathering upgrade materials and fighting 7 bosses. Then you go to Consort underleveled. That's not super fun. You're overleveled for everything else and spend the majority of your time just running between bosses, and through catacombs you either look up the pathing for or already have memorized. Third option is just blindly trying to figure them out on your own. That's not super fun either. Okay, getting pretty negative here, so just gotta remind everyone, Elden Ring is one of the best games of all time. Exploring it for the first time is a uniquely magical experience that perfectly balances frustration and satisfaction. I, much like Mick Jagger, just get no satisfaction, so it's only the frustration. Like the Putrid Tree Spirit first time, wow, what a weird twisty-turny monster. That's neat. Now, not neat. Annoying twisty-turny monster, stop twisty-turning. Lanciax is an anagram for anal sex with an extra S for extra sex. It's also just an easier version of Senessax. Godskin Noble is very easy to make bleed. The bosses are now so fast, I have stopped bringing the imps, as summoning them and using the animation to summon them would only slow the fight. We did 11 bosses in the last hour, which is pretty great considering how most of the time is just running. That opens the door to Rykard, a boss I've skipped the narration of routinely. I bring the boys in case they want to run in there and get a bleed for me to make the fight go a little bit faster. I don't know if they do. I'm not taking the time to watch the fight. It's Rykard, it's the Serpent Hunter. You know how it goes. Draconic Tree Sentinel gets stunned out of the warm-up attack into a stance break, into phase 2 attack, and then just dies to 2 more pokes. Sewer Mohg might be a little rough, immune to all status effects, 80% fire resistance. Turns out though, great spears are pretty good. Even when the damage has been hobbled, it's still 3 sharp points at the end of a long heavy stick, like an echidna penis. Speaking of forks, there's a fork in our path now since the Godfrey Shade and Astel are both worth the same amount of runes. Both also open up to more bosses that are worth more. I went with the Godfrey Shade because he's less annoying, and the bosses he unlocks are less annoying than the ones Astel unlocks. Godfrey gets rocked, and look at that, we finally have our 3rd pocket. Yeah, funny routing thing. We don't beat Margit for a talisman pouch, and obviously we don't beat the Shade for one, so the only 2 we have are the starting pouch and the one for beating 2 remembrance bosses. Is it interesting? Maybe not. Is it something that happened? Yeah. Here's another thing that happens. If you don't get a pocket from Margit, you get one for beating Morgott. Also, beating Morgott despawns the Margit boss fight, which means we will have to cycle back in NG HP+ in order to fight Margit as a unique boss encounter. Same with Patches, who despawns once you've unlocked Volcano Manor, I think. I don't know why he despawns or what the trigger is. If I had a modicum of investment in the quality of this video, I would go look for it. But, 15 minutes later, Fire Giant. He's a big old man. He's got blood in his body. If you're bored using good weapons, why not use a worse weapon? Well, if you're bored at your job, glue your genitals to your chair. Super glue them. Make it so that if you want to stand up, your genitals will pull the weight of the chair behind you. Now your job isn't boring because it's more difficult. That's more interesting, right? I've solved your boredom problem. Give me $5. Now, I think the work would probably get done faster if you didn't glue your genitals to your chair. You'd probably have to spend some time researching adhesives to find one strong enough that the weight of the chair wouldn't simply unadhere your genitalia to said chair. That's time in and of itself. Depending on the nature and shape and size of your genitalia, finding a way to position the glue would also be a challenge. Obviously, this is easier if you have a penis and testicles, but hey, most people with penises and testicles get advantage in corporate world anyway already. Am I right? I'm in a uniquely privileged position that I actually do just get to end my workday when the task is done. I'm just also in an unfortunate position that writing and streaming a playthrough generally takes more than 40 hours per week. Sometimes it's less, and sure, if I wrote fewer metaphors involving genitals, adhesives, and work chairs, the scripts would be over faster, but the videos would be shorter. That's a bad video. A good video has Elden Ring on screen for a long time and me putting less effort into the narration. I tried putting lots of effort into their narration and making the script tight, full of quick jokes about specific topics to be as funny as possible. Those videos did bad. So it's kind of got to be a loose, rambling, little bit hostile experience with gameplay in the background. Worse looking gameplay too. We took the HUD out for the Welcome To series, dropped the face cam too so the gameplay would really get to shine. Not good. HUD, camera. I should figure out how to put chat on screen too and maybe mod in an objective marker like it's a Ubisoft game. Hey everyone, it's the Godskin duo, everyone's least favorite boss and the only one I like. It's fun with Bernie. It remains fun with Bernie. The arena is fun and I genuinely like this fight. You're all wrong for skipping it with sleep pots. God, I can't even imagine how annoyed I would be if I had to grab Trina Lily's pots and a recipe every time. That'd be like 2 minutes. But damn, are you that pressed to not just bring the lad? Kinda just going in story order now. What's next? Maliketh? Yes, but after Maliketh, we don't go to Gideon. We go to Placidusax. Isn't that interesting? No? Just a thing that happens? Well, happens it does. We get Placi against the wall and can really make it rain while he's there. Doesn't kill, sadly, takes a few more pokes to get a bleed proc. Gideon is almost dead as the Ash of War finishes, but he gets a flask off. Disgusting. We had to press R1 4 more times. Then it's the meat version of Godfrey who goes down pretty easily. Phase 2 is so scriptable that even I script it, and I'm the guy who hates scripting. God, because that would be a lot worse for me. Back to the metaphors for your own job. Imagine if you went from doing your standard job to perfectly executing every aspect of your job with maximum efficiency and striving to do it the exact same way every time. Does it make it more fun to get through? Probably not. Radahn and the Elden Beast are worth the most runes. Sure, he can't bleed, but he's weak to fire damage. Phase 1 goes pretty darn quick, and then we're right on to the Elden Beast. Why hit him with the blood boom? Well, he's got a big body. This is big particle damage. Thought it would be worth it. It also buffs the weapon to do a little extra fire damage, so I thought that could be worth it. Overall, we just don't have a great weapon for this phase of the fight in general, since so much of our intended DPS is from bleed, but it's not all that bad. We're over leveled. Our talismans are great for this. It's easy. I also haven't taken the time to activate a great rune. Radahn's would be fine, probably like 5 minutes of time to go get it. I'm trying to do this as fast as possible without speedrunning because, as I mentioned with the scripting thing, yeah, that would not make it better for me. Elden Beast down. Now we're really doing cleanup. Starting with Borealis, who we normally ignore Alice, but that joke got pretty stale, so I retired it. I think Fort Height stays good because it's a reference, and references are a popular comedy type for millennials. A lot of our humor is sort of just a, hey, I'll say something you recognize. That's a joke. Ideally, you put a slight twist on it, but it's not really all that necessary. More importantly, though, primacy makes Fort Height more memorable since it always happens at the beginning of a video, and it gets to be at least slightly different each time with a different character being imagined in Fort Height. Nile is the same every time. Beat the goons, beat the Nile. Are there mods that would make this game different? Sure. That make it better? I'll be honest, I just hate mods in general. I used to say I'm not installing mods because I'm playing on PS5, but that was always just an excuse. My old computer could absolutely handle Elden Ring, and my new computer could handle 5 Elden Rings at once while doing a keg stand. I just don't like mods. I don't need to constantly adjust and fine-tune every single aspect of the game. I've never been a graphics guy. Started playing games in the N64 era. Never really needed anything better than a PS2. When I played a PS2, I could see what the characters were supposed to be doing, and everything since then has been a lateral move. Much like the Deathrite Bird is a lateral move from... It's in the game. I don't know. It stun locks you with the fire, kills your horse, and then kills you on the ground. It's been dog shit since February of 2022. Will be dog shit until February of 2022 when the heat death of the universe comes a billion years early. Now, Convergence Mod changes everything. There's new bosses. There's new spells. It's a totally different Elden Ring that's still Elden Ring. Wear your pants backwards to work. It's slightly harder than getting them on forwards. Once you figure out how to zip the fly from the back, you're pretty much good to go though. Now the pants weren't really made to be worn that way, so sometimes your pants are gonna break and you'll have to patch and fix your pants, but it's an overall different pants wearing experience at your job. Personally, it made me feel like I was wearing pants for the first time again. And hey, when I first wore pants, that was exciting. Moving out of diapers and getting to wear pants for the first time made me feel like a big important boy. Loretta fight. But even getting to wear pants for the first time again wouldn't excite me because pants wearing has become such a routine. Most fans of pants would be totally fine coming to my business where I'm wearing pants a little bit differently. There are definitely some people who would say, oh, I don't want to go back to that place. That guy working there has his pants on backwards. I'd rather go somewhere where the pants are on normal. That's what I'm used to. What I want to do is just work a different job. I want to do something totally different. Turning my pants around is just going to be a slightly less comfortable version of the same thing I'm doing, and it's also not going to bring in any more business. Melania is weak to bleed and gets pretty stun-locked by the rain. But she's still Melania, so sometimes she'll just say, no, I didn't, and win. She didn't this time, she's dead. Great Worm Theodorix gets poked. Play another Souls-like then. Like the Pinocchio one, or the one that's even more frustrating and makes you parry, or the monkey one that hates girls. Tree gets burned down. This is you hate working at McDonald's, but you should work at Burger King. It's a totally different ballgame. No, it isn't. It's the same and probably just worse because McDonald's is the gold standard of fast food. I'm not thinking Arby's is gonna be any better. Also, this is not me saying McDonald's is the best fast food place. The metaphor got away from me a little bit there. I'm saying Elden Ring is the best Souls-like. It just is. The other ones might have slightly different mechanics, but it's the same game, basically, at the end of the day, and they're all just a little worse than Elden Ring, even the older FromSofts. Estelle in the Snowfield gets rained on. Well, I'd watch you play anything, especially Armored Core 6 or Baldur's Grapes. Okay, well, you don't actually mean you'd watch me play anything. You mean you'd watch me play those games specifically, and I know that that's what you mean because when we try other stuff, it doesn't get watched, which makes sense. Y'all are here because you'll all like Elden Ring. But no matter what game I jump to, the overlap of Elden Ring fans and fans of that game is never going to be a pure circle like the fans of Elden Ring and fans of Elden Ring. There's a pretty sizable overlap of Kingdom Hearts fans and Souls-like fans, believe it or not. The critical modes, secret bosses, and super gay and super anime characters with dodge rolls gets the overlap going, but that sizable overlap is maybe 10%. Marvel Rivals is super popular right now. Lots of people are playing it. Unfortunately, a big portion of FromSoft fans kind of hate anything that would be free to play or season pass based, which is fair. You don't have to like everything. So maybe another 10%. Armored Core 6, it's made by FromSoft. Surely the overlap there will be huge. Armored Core 6 sold 3 million units. Elden Ring sold 30 million. That's literally 10%. And unlike the other games that maybe have a 10% overlap between them, I don't have the knowledge of the new game to explain it to new people. I'm a newcomer. The only appeal the video could have is veterans watching me play it and fucking up. Leonine Misbegotten gets rained on. So I'd be risking $60 on a game that frankly doesn't really appeal to me. Maybe I'll enjoy it, maybe I won't, for 10% of the audience to make a worse video. The reason I'm playing Kingdom Hearts, Mass Effect, Final Fantasy, games I like, is because they're games I like. I know them. I can hopefully put a catchy challenge on them to hopefully interest people who never watched our FromSoft stuff and only played those games. It hasn't worked, but just jumping into a new game I'm not excited to play, I don't understand the mechanics of, and expecting to finish it in a week, get a script out, and not feel rushed or pressured to make that good, that's not gonna work. Knight's Cavalry gets poked. Ancient Hero of Zamor gets rained on. Well, Phil, it just sounds like you don't want to make any videos that appeal to your audience, and yes, videos. That's the core issue. Anything I'm interested in making wouldn't appeal to the broad audience I've built. And I'm not missing the fact that Phil's super honest rant video is not exactly a sustainable series either. Like, no doubt some of you hate this, but I feel like I have to talk about this stuff in videos, or people will ask me about it in stream, or ask me about it in the comments. It doesn't really matter how many times I say this in a stream. It only matters if it's in a video, because like 50 people show up for a stream. That's not as many people who watch the videos. I think a lot of people just aren't paying attention to these videos, which is also fair. My feelings aren't hurt. 90% of the YouTube videos I watch are just in the background while I work on something that doesn't require 2 monitors. Building and testing the decks for the Magic the Gathering channel. That's the work I'm doing. There isn't really another part of this job that lets me have a free monitor. But yeah, I'll throw on some Wolfie VGC competitive Pokemon video, get an hour and a half into it and realize, oh, I don't know what Pokemon are on his team, huh? Pretty sure lots of people are doing the same thing and probably doing it with my videos. It's another factor that hurts new games. Elden Ring is a game you don't feel like you need to pay attention to the video as much because you know what it is. Hell, the Welcome to Limgrave format demands attention because the jokes were fast and good. Our other Elden Ring videos just run with like the rhythm of jokes. Like, that sounds like it was probably funny, so I would probably be enjoying the video if I was watching it, and that makes it great fodder for a second monitor. But the other videos require a little energy. Again, not shaming anyone for not properly watching my content, because I do the same thing. That's probably not super great for our media literacy as a whole, that lots of people don't even watch the things that they're watching. Like, forget reading, we're not even able to watch stuff anymore because it's not productive enough. Even if you're not actively working, you're on your phone, doing some social media, making plans with people, checking that group chat, or playing a game. I think ideally, we'd all have time to play a game and then watch a video we want to, but that's not really how we operate anymore.
We're so buried in our phones. Instead of giving someone a real smile, we send an emoji.
I just think it's probably bad. And I know I'm not the only YouTuber going through it right now. Innuendo Studios, who makes the alt-right playbook videos, which are great, is quitting YouTube because he can't afford it, and he's bigger than us.
I'm in danger.
The pivot of focus from the algorithm over to shorts has led to a proliferation of unavoidable AI slop, just the most nothing videos where AI regurgitates common knowledge, or just clips stolen from somewhere else and re-uploaded. Estelle gets poked. I've never watched an episode of Modern Family on TV, but I think I've seen the entire series through YouTube Shorts. Someone said I had Phil Dunphy energy once, and now I know that that's a compliment. But the writers of those episodes aren't getting paid for that. The actors aren't. Someone just got a bunch of clips of Modern Family, cut them up, threw them up on a medium that refuses to do any sort of copyright protection. Don't get me wrong, the long-form video copyright system at YouTube is a nightmare, but given the alternative is just nothing, it's better than nothing. Jesus, how many YouTube Shorts accounts just read Tumblr posts? That's it. Putrid Duelist gets jammed. Somehow that feels lazier than reclipping Modern Family. So yeah, maybe if your favorite creator is in like the 5 million to 10 million subscriber range, they're doing all right. But speaking for 100 to 500,000, we're struggling. It's a rough time to make content if you have objections to pivoting to AI slop. Like, this is some slop. This is not my finest work. I have no delusions about that, but I sat my ass down and wrote it. Deathbird gets stabbed. I'm not just grabbing a Fextra Life page, slapping it into ChatGPT to tell you how to cheese the mimic tier. Vike gets rained on. Erdtree Avatar duo also gets rained on. Splitting their body doubles their hitbox. All that said, I'm excited for Night Rain. It seems like the moment-to-moment gameplay is going to be faster, grinding is entirely removed, and most mercifully, the map is smaller. I don't lose my mind playing this game because the bosses are too hard, or even because the bosses aren't fun. Some of them are fun. I lose my mind because this is just horseback riding simulator 90% of the time. And unlike Barbie's Horse Adventure, the horseback riding is not the core focus of the game, so it's not very fun. Godskin Boo gets stabbed, and then I stab the snail that summoned them. Also, just like playing with friends should be cool. Not doing this alone. A big thing missing from content creation that people get from a desk job, I don't have coworkers. Sure, you don't love all your coworkers, some of them are annoying. Blackblade Kindred gets poked, our stats are better, and this one's weaker than it was as the third boss we fought, I think? I don't remember. I don't care to check. Despite having some annoying coworkers though, getting to interact with other people makes your day better. I get to interact with chat, but that's not a peer-to-peer thing, that's like doing stand-up while doing your desk job, which is fine. Twitch chat is fine, but it's not the same thing. Dragonkin Soldier on the Lake of Rock goes well. That's actually surprising. That was the last boss I was worried about. Kinda done yapping too. This is a big long yap session. Gotta save some of that for the next time I'm forced to play Elden Ring. Am I right?
If I were you, I'd stay in my shell. Catch you later. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got to. Hi, Tail.
Alright, rules. Each pun that I think is of high quality gets a sax break. If I think they suck, no sax. For example, the Stray Mimic tier is one cool cat. That one sucks, no sax. Ball Bearing Hunter, not really even a pun. The bell bearings are ball bearings, no sax. This boss gives me an ulcer. Rated Tree Spirit. I actually had ulcers when I was 17. I was the first kid at the children's hospital in my hometown who ever had ulcers because I was working 40 hours a week at the local news station while taking AP classes in high school and chain smoking cigarettes. That's so wild. At least I practice self-care now. Good nights, Cavalry, because I beat you and you're done. Good night, Fia's chumps. Am I right? So here I thought we could go do Fortisax, but no, we haven't done the optional Ronnie quest that is mandatory because the Loretta Ghost is down so far on the list. I prefer Dragon Triple Exicus because I'm a scaly in the joke, not in real life. Wish I was, seems like a nice community. Knights Cavalry again. I needed to do better, more like Knights Lavatory because this is a shitty fight. Sax that, I guess. Another Deathbird. Ugh, give me a beak. That one works better typed out. No sax. It looks like the word break, but doesn't pronounce it the same way. Crazy that they're called the Fell Twins. They should be called the Felt Losses. Get these Muppets out of here. Sax that one. 2 Crucible Knights. I'd rather make like a tree and a leaf. They work for a tree. Maybe should have saved that one for Siluria later because she has a weapon specifically named Tree. Godfroy. What am I playing? Boros or something? Magic the Gathering. Pun. Tulok the Cardbarian. Sax it with the channel name on screen so people can go subscribe. Activate saxophone. Damn, I think Siluria should branch out and find a hobby because she's not good at a fight. Good news, there's a lot of tree puns, that helps. Sadly, the Magma Worm doesn't make our run any more fun, that's a freebie. Bell-Bearing Hunter can take this Elmer all the way to the Briar. I've heard of Eskar Go. I want to make Eskar go to the polls. Lord of Blood's Exaltation will make the rest of the bosses go faster, as if that were an issue. I guess I didn't commit when I complained about the Falling Star Beast in the DLC, so I'll give this one a full groan. Ugh. Most dogs are pretty stupid, but this one here is very well read. Sax that. Bell-Bearing Hunter is in the Traveling Merchant Shack. He's really killing the aesthetic here. Aesthetic. It's kind of, whatever. The DLC might have charged you extra for duplicate bosses, but this one is, thank God, free. If you like getting blasted by 2 horsemen at the same time, skip the Tree Sentinel duo and just check out my AO3 page. It's the same joke we put in Welcome to Altus, but none of you watched it, so I'm reusing it here. I'm phoning it in. The script is long, my voice is hoarse. Sneak attack, second pun for a second boss. Sax it. This is the only magma worm that lives on magma. We had a fact checker who would verify that, but we let him go. You know, fired proof. Mount Gelmnir schools are so enthusiastic, even their ulcerated trees have spirit. The Perfumer and Misbegotten aren't the boss I should be fighting here. It's the Crucible and Misbegotten. That was just a mistake I made on stream. There's no pun. I just screwed up. Doesn't matter. 2 mistakes in a row here. We did the Dragonkin of Noxtella before the one in the Underground River. Oh well. Well. Like the river well. That's the pun. I forgot which New Girl cast member this guy is a boss of. Oh, Nyx Lord. That's the first pun I thought of because I was watching New Girl as my Subway Surfers while I stream. Fun show, underrated, not overwatched to death like The Office. I will say, about 5 episodes into season 4, they stopped doing the theme song, and God, fuck them for that. Answering the question, who's that girl, every 22 minutes or so was a dopamine hit I needed during these runs. Literally, Blue's Clues dopamine, just telling Steve that the murder weapon is behind him with a big blue paw print on it, kind of dopamine. But I needed it, and by the way, it's Jess. Get fucked, birds. There's 2 birds? And here I am without 1 stone. You know what? That's better than any pun I'd have for a Deathrite bird, so let's just skip that one. Thank you, Stream Film. Almost forgot to do this boss. Thank God I double-checked my to-do list. Sax that one. I love how this boss moves. You know it's a great dancer because it doesn't have any reservations. Such an ulcerated free spirit. Has anyone seen Heir to Keld? No? Oh God, is Radha gone? Magic the Gathering punch. He's in my Rubing Daring Tracker deck I made. Check it out if you like dorks. Say what you will about Renala, but at least she doesn't half-ass anything, because she's the queen of the full moon. I'd say Sax, but I've seen y'all's fan art. That's just accurate. Girl looks like she can't fit through a doorway. Is this dragon gonna market cigarettes to children? I assume so, because it's one of the glintstones.
Yeah, Barney Winston tastes good, like a cigarette should.
This boss here would be better if we had Shrek's best friend and John Arbuckle's dogs. You finish that one out, English majors. I don't feel like making a pun for the Tibia Mariner today. Can you come back to Marrow? I thought we were done with the demi-humans after Mariga, but I guess there's one demi more. You can tell the ancestor spirits in the game are female because of their antlers. If they were men, they'd be unklers. Sax that one twice. The Erdtree Burial Watchdogs are immune to bleed because of rules made by Marika. This was one of her most important statutes. Commander goes down pretty fast, which is to be expected. I mean, he was already kneeling. Dragonkin Soldier can't stance break because they never stand up to begin with. The Black Knife Assassin isn't my favorite boss, but I'll take a stab at it. I'm stabbing all the bosses, but this one has knife in the name, so it feels like an extra pun. Hey, didn't we fight this one already? They should call it the Hero of Same Or. Another Falling Star Beast, but this one is a child, so it doesn't get a full grown. Just a quick ugh. I've heard of Demi-Human Queen Mar go. I want to make Demi-Human Queen Mar go to the polls. Mimic tier? Okay. I'm salty and I fall out of your eyes when you're sad. Valiant Gargoyles are misnamed. This is a cave, not a valley, and ants are after the boss. 0 out of 10 because the fight also sucks ass. I've been emailing this ancestor spirit about birds that fly around dockyards, but I don't even want to read what it wrote in the email titled Regal Ancestor Spirit. I've been emailing this horseman about the actor from Man of Steel, but I don't even want to read what it wrote in the email titled Recaval. If this is a kind red of rot, I don't want to know what a mean red of rot is. Abductor Virgin is really easy, just get fucked. Would you still love me if I was a worm face? Some of the Erdtree avatars read a lot of books. They're well read. This one's putrid. I feel bad for a guy who was just smoking weed in his basement. You know, the stoned digger troll. This one was supposed to be the perfumer in Misbegotten, but remember I fucked it up, so no pun here, just shift it in your mind, but also know you don't care, because Elden Ring's on the screen. These crystal Ians aren't a champagne, they're a real pain. Hey Garrus, leave my neck alone. It doesn't want any of your romance. Get back to the calibrations, you dang goofball. Okay, so this one actually just makes me mad. The Crystallian duo is worth the same amount of runes as the Invisible Black Knife Assassin, but for whatever reason in my notes, I decided to put this first, even though that one, the Invisible Black Knife Assassin, is in the same cave as Garrus. Big waste of time, that's my fault. Speaking of, Black Knife Assassin, didn't see that one coming because you didn't see it, because it's invisible. Our boxing match against this sanguine aristocrat is over, which is strange because I heard no bell. Knights Cavalry aren't getting any more puns. It behooves me to make another horse joke. Beating this demi-human queen gets you good money as long as you're in Final Fantasy, because it's Gil-Ika. Miranda and the Omen Killer. Where's Samantha and another Sex and the City person? I replaced one of them with Omen Killer. I just have to know one more name. Oh, Carrie. Duh. Deathrite Bird's existence implies a broken class structure amongst the birds, as these are the only ones who have rights, and I hate that. Big win against the Battle Mage, or should I say, a huge win. Be careful with your money around this Falling Star Beast. He'll sell ya a tunnel if you're not careful. Wish we knew more about this Royal Knight, but it's hard to find the lore at a... Okay, we have to have a good pun for Fortisax, otherwise we can't play sax for this pun. Saxophone. I'm allergic to this dragon. It's gonna make me sneeze. Call that the Adula Melangata. That's the part of your brain that's in charge of involuntary reflexes. The Black Knives must have a democratic structure because this one was Electo, be their ringleader. I'm not doing puns for repeat bosses anymore. Magma Worm. Watchdogs. What does this Clean Rot Knight do? Oh, it summons a second one. Duo is the pun there. Must be a big tombstone if we're getting Cemetery Shade. Frenzied Duelist is technically technically a different name than Grave Warden Duelist, but I don't care, no pun. Deathbird. This duo is extra obnoxious. Pumpkinhead. Wait, are we playing Chain of Memories again? Hey, here's the thumbnail. Add it to your watch later. I promise I don't hate my life while writing, streaming, or recording that one. If this whole thing has been a big bummer for you, that video is a nice little palate cleanser. Bell-bearing Hunter again. Erdtree Avatar again. I'd really end the video, but we're so far in, you know, sunk cost fallacy giving me life. Oh shit, right after another Erdtree Avatar. Do you really think this game is better for having more bosses like this? Yes, Phil, you're playing the game wrong. Nobody is supposed to fight every boss. Get the salt out of your ass. Knights Cavalry again. And again. Hero of Zamor again. Agil, uniquely named, not really unique in any way. I'd be happier with other bosses if they at least had unique names. Like, would it have been so hard to say Omen Killer Sven? Tibia Mariner. Gary. This guy's got some big balls to come at me. Hey, unique boss pun. That's fun. Sax it. Erdtree Avatar. Marilyn. Deathbird Kundler Sparl. Adon stole from his last job. That's why he got fired. Leonardo Misbegotten. Onyx Lord Brock. Cemetery Shade Sade. Knights Henry Cavalry, Crystal Liam, and Crystal Leanne. In Germany, they really miss this guy. Minecrafted Scion, they say. Chicken Jockey. Tree Sentinel Shaggy. I'm not asking them to royal reinvent the wheel here, you know. Crystallian Ian. Deathbird What's His Nuts. That's his real name, which is really confusing when he introduces himself. Erdtree Watchdog Fido. This one doesn't have a name, but the other one does. Talk about a bloodhound nightmare. Bell-bearing Hunter Elimer. They're all Elimer. This one's Elimer. This is just a big fucking bear they put in a cave. You pass 2 of these on the way to the cave. What the fuck? Cleanrot Knight Carolyn. Erdtree Burial Watchdog Bucyrus. Tibia Mariner Miley. Yes, it's just because I said Cyrus in the last one. M. Knights Cavalran. Turbo, the Spirit Caller Snail. Cemetery Slime Shady. I typed an extra E in, and I'm not taking it out. That's how committed I am to not putting effort in here. Crucible Knight. Gru. Miranda, the Miranda Bloom. Why is she Miranda? 'Cause Grove. Scaly Misbegotten Trevor. Bloodhound Knight Dara, Will, and Grace. Stone Digger Troll Ollie. Grave Warden Duelist Dudley. Guardian Golem Ian. I know there are 2 Ians in the lands between. You know that there are 2 people in the real world with the same name. What, like that's not allowed? Black Knife Assassin Beatrice. Black Knife Assassin Beatrice II. Erdtree Burial Watchdog Scooby-Doo. Demi-Human Chief Taylor and Travis. Pumpkinhead Jack. Beastman of Faram Azula Kelsey Grammer. Soldier of God Dean. And that's it for the base game. So Margit is a boss, but because of the order we do the bosses in, we cannot fight Margit in the first thing. Here's the final Margit fight. We hit him with a lot of bleed, neat. Then Patches here, show the fight, it's pretty funny. How high up does this go? Can I kill him up there? Ah! Okay, that's actually really funny. And then, that's not the last boss. Because of our new rules, our actual final boss is in the DLC. That means Radahn again. I don't summon anyone. I think it'll just make everything take longer. He almost dies before phase 2, but not quite. Oh well. Then, lots of running, and hey, Mohg again. We bring the imps back. They bleed and they distract him, but mostly we're counting on the guy who loves counting, and it's super effective, except, he's fully immune to fire damage. Not quite. 80% resistance, big oof. The bleed is still good, the poke is still good, and I don't know, Mohg just feels more impactful. Then I hit the Ash of War, and 150 of the 207 bosses died instantly. Like, we don't lose, y'all know we don't lose, obviously we don't lose, but hey, the DLC is open. No, our real final boss is in the DLC. We get the Monk's Missive and hit an emote in front of Dryleaf Dane, activating the boss fight. A boss fight I've never actually done, but perf extra life, it's worth 0 runes. Once we win, we get runes. It's a great reminder that Fextra Life
is a liar sometimes.
Oh boy.
full circle, which means this should not have been the final boss, and we made one more mistake right before the end. Who cares? Thanks for watching, everyone. I know it might seem like I don't want anyone watching these videos, but I do, or I wouldn't make them. I need these videos to be watched because the other ones aren't being watched. So thank you for watching this one, but please also just watch the other ones. I'm literally begging you. Join the Patreon to support the channel. It's the best place to do it. Follow us on Twitch where we're playing Night Rain all night tonight. Come see if I hate that shit too. And check out Tulok the Cardbarian if you like Magic the Gathering. Those videos are great and there's life in my heart and I don't want to die.